Okay, so the next part of this process is we're going to stain the Hurl. Now I'm staining it with wood stain, but you can use spray paint, you can use regular gloss or emulsion, anything you want for any particular custom colour you're going for. The colour I'm going for is a shade of purple, and what I'm using to make that particular purple is Crimson Guitars Stunning Stains. Available from Crimson Guitars. Works really well with the wood for mixing custom colours and different combinations and all that. It's very good for it. I use them on full size guitars and everything, and I find them absolutely perfect. So we've got the blue and we've got crimson red here. So we're just going to mix some of that together to give us our custom purple, and we'll just try it out on this old Hurley we have here that we use for testing our colours and that. So we're just going to mix up a batch of that colour now until we get the right shade of purple that we want. Okay, so we're just going to start with some red here. And then we'll just start to darken that with some of the blue and get it a nice shade of purple. So these are just some old cheap paintbrushes. Just used to mix it up and see what kind of colour we end up getting. Now if this is too dark or too light, we can just keep mixing it until we get what we want. Seems to be a nice shade of purple there. Seems to be quite dark. I think we need to change that up with some, maybe a bit too much blue in there. Keep on adding some more red to it, because it's quite a dark purple, and the more we add, the darker it'll just get. So we'll just add some more red to this now and see, can we lighten it up. And then we may even add some white to it as well to lighten it even further. But Crimson Guitars sell a whole range of colours. I think there's 12 or maybe 14 different colours and various combinations you can mix together and get lots of different colours, and that's a much more what we're looking for in terms of a purple. But again, maybe we will go slightly more red with it. We'll just have to double check against the customer's custom colour that he wants. But that's practically close to what we want, and by the time that dries it'll probably lighten a little bit more and we can come back and do a second coat on it to properly dark. But this first one here is obviously way too dark. We're going for more of this kind of purple, maybe even slightly more reddish to get it more maroon like. But we've got a decent batch of this colour now, and as I said, we'll just do some more mixing and experimenting until we get the colour we want, and as we go for a second coat we can see it begins to darken even more. So we'll just keep mixing these colours until we get exactly what we want. Okay, so we just kept adding some more red to this mixture here, and we seem to come out with the colour we want, which is this kind of, I suppose, maroon or almost near burgundy or something like that, I suppose you might say. And I'm sure when that dries it'll lighten up a touch more, and that's the colour we're going for. So we'll now go back to our actual Hurl and we'll start staining the whole lot until practically the entire thing is coloured this shade of maroon. Okay, so I've just thrown on some gloves here because this can get quite messy, and we're just going to take a clean rag, but you can use tissue. You can see I've got brushes here that I'll be using for some of the more delicate areas, but it's just a case of getting some liquid on it and just starting to rub it in. Now because this is a water-based stain, it will raise the grain, so you can see all the scratches and stuff come to the surface, and that's kind of the look I want. I don't mind it looking very rustic or you know, very worn, kind of looking like it's an actual Hurl that's been used. But if you don't like the look of the raised grain, you can just do one coat, and when the grain lifts you can sand it back flat again and then go again. So that's roughly our first coat, kind of the look we're going for. So we'll just keep going with this and probably build it up to say maybe 2 or 3 layers, and that'll be most of our staining done. So we'll bring you back when the stain is finished. Okay, so we've just about finished the first coat on the top part. So we're just going to let that dry and soak into the wood for a few minutes, and already some areas are starting to become really light where the wood has soaked it up, especially right on the top here, which is going to be end grain, and right on the bottom of the hurl as well, where it's going to really soak in deep. So we'll just leave this to dry for a little bit, and then we'll go for a second coat, and then we'll flip it over and do the back.